What's up? What's good, everybody? Right now, we are comparing the iPhone X versus the iPhone 6s Plus in 2018, seeing how both these phones run, which one you should get. Now, spoiler alert, if you have an unlimited amount budget, meaning if you can spend unlimited amount of money, why would you not get the iPhone X? That's the only thing that makes sense. It's a much better phone than the iPhone 6s Plus, but let's say you're in the middle. You don't know if you should spend more money and get the iPhone X or you should save some money and get the 6s Plus. This is what this video is for. Now, these phones came out 2 years from each other. The 6s Plus came out in 2015, the iPhone X came out in 2017, and really the biggest difference in terms of body really are the sizes, and obviously the iPhone X doesn't have a home button. Really, if you didn't know that by now, then you've probably been living under a rock. And no offense to like Patrick or anything, but like in terms of looks, I definitely like how the iPhone X looks. But one thing I don't like about the iPhone X would definitely be the glass back, and I haven't really been vocal about it, but I just want to say I'm not really a fan of glass back on phones. I do understand why it has it, so we can have wireless charging, but that's just a bias towards me. So really it's just per preference. You might have a different opinion, that's perfectly fine. The iPhone X has a 5.7-inch AMOLED screen, and the iPhone 6s Plus has a 5.5-inch IPS panel. And obviously the iPhone X has a much better screen in my opinion. It's AMOLED, so all the blacks are going to be pitch black, instead of the 6s Plus where it's IPS, so all the pixels are lit up at the same time. And obviously, you know, the iPhone X is going to last longer than the iPhone 6s Plus in terms of updates, because the iPhone X started getting iOS 11.1.1, the iPhone 6s Plus started getting iOS 9, so I only see the iPhone 6s Plus lasting for 2 more versions of iOS, so it's going to get iOS 12, it's going to get iOS 13, then it's going to stop there, versus the iPhone X where it literally just started getting updates, so there's quite a bit of difference there. In terms of specs, the 6s Plus had the Apple A9 chip, a dual-core processor clocked at 1.84 GHz, and 2 GB of RAM, versus the iPhone X that has the Apple A11 Bionic chip, a hexa-core processor clocked at 2.39 GHz, and 3 GB of RAM. So overall, the iPhone X beats it in everything: gaming, performance, every single thing you could think of, it beats it literally. But the one thing that the 6s Plus actually has an advantage over the iPhone X would definitely be the storage sizes. The iPhone X only comes in two 64 gigs and 256 gigs, so really you're going to be paying anywhere, even in the used market, anywhere between $800 to about $1,200 for a used iPhone X, depending on whether you go used or new. But even used, you're going to be baseline 64 gigs, about $800, versus the iPhone 6s Plus, where it came in 16, 32, 64, and 128 gigabyte variants. Not a lot of people talk about that, but since this phone did come out in a lot of different variants, the prices, the entry level for the 6s Plus 16 gigabytes is literally around $220 to less than $300, which is a pretty good deal. You can even get a 64 gig or even 128 for like less than $400. I would say probably even less than $350. So the 6s Plus is about 3 times to 4 times cheaper than the iPhone X in some cases. So that's something you need to consider. Now, camera-wise, the iPhone X is better. It has portrait mode. You can shoot 4K videos, even at 60 frames per second, where the iPhone 6s Plus you can't. Now, one thing with the 6s Plus, you can only shoot 4K at 30 frames per second, which isn't a big deal for a lot of people. And I would say if the iPhone X's camera is like 100%, like it's perfect 10 out of 10, the iPhone 6s Plus would probably be around an 8 to 8.5, somewhere in that category. It's really not too far off, and I do think the photos are still very good on the 6s Plus. The front cameras are, does anybody use front cameras anymore? I mean, it's 7 megapixels versus 5 megapixels. There's that. Now, battery life, I'll be honest, they both almost have the same battery size. 2716 iPhone X, 2750 6s Plus, and I would say battery life is pretty comparable. You might get better battery life on the 6s Plus, considering it's less powered and it doesn't have a bigger, brighter screen and a higher clock screen, so you might have better battery life there. So that's something to consider, but it's really not that big of a difference, I'll be honest. Now, some other key things to note: the iPhone X obviously doesn't have a home button, so it doesn't have a fingerprint sensor. It does have Face ID, so that's kind of cool. Another thing to note, the iPhone 6s Plus does have a headphone jack. The iPhone X does not, so if that still bothers you, you might need to switch phones or whatever. No portrait mode on the 6s Plus. The iPhone X has wireless charging, and really that's pretty much it. So what I would come down to is, like I said, if you have an unlimited amount of budget, the iPhone X definitely would be your go-to. But let's say you want a decent iPhone that'll last you at least 2 more years, and you don't feel like shelling out $800 to $1,000 on a new iPhone X where you can just wait a little bit. I would kind of recommend getting a 6s Plus, keeping it for like another year or so, even up until like November, October of this year, where the new iPhones come out. Then you can sell this iPhone, not even take that much of a hit, maybe lose like $50, $60 in the resale value, sell it, and go buy yourself an iPhone X, which will already be technically a year old, and the prices will drop for those. since the newer iPhones will be released. That's just a practical way I would look at it, but I am in no way saying the iPhone 6s Plus is better than the iPhone 10. Almost in every single way, the iPhone 10 is better. But if I were in your shoes, I would probably go getting the 6s Plus now, waiting out on the iPhone 10, then waiting till the new iPhone's released, buying the iPhone 10, and then selling the 6s Plus. That's probably what I would do. But you know, guys, I said my opinion. The choice is yours. It's a free country. Do whatever you want. But please let me know what you guys end up doing. I'd love to see that. If you want an iPhone 10 or a 6s Plus, links are down in the description. Please get them through that link so then this channel can keep making videos and support it and all that stuff. I would definitely 100% appreciate that. If you guys have any questions or anything, leave them down in the comment section below. Hit that like button. That'll mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. We're still giving away an iPhone 6s and an iPhone SE on this channel. In order to enter, all you have to do is subscribe to the channel and follow me on Twitter and Instagram. Both those links are down in the description, so make sure you enter for that. But more importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys, and hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.